Section 5. Migration and Testing. In this section, we're going to take a look at testing various aspects of our app, and then finishing everything up and going ahead and publishing it all. Testing core functionality. In this video, we're going to take a look at making robust and thorough tests for our app's core functionality, and we're going to do it using Xcode's built-in unit testing. So here in Xcode, we have our app, of course, and you can see that just over here in the Project Explorer. But if we go ahead and just minimize that for a second, then you also have these two other projects that aren't things like products, pods, and frameworks. Those are just supporting files. These are actual projects, separate projects, but they build off this main one. The one we're going to look at in this video is RX Swift Course Tests. In the next one, we'll look over RX Swift Course UI Tests. So just go ahead and expand this project right here, and there should just be one file, which is named after the folder. So let's go ahead and go into that. And just for the remainder of this, at the top browser here of all these icons, go ahead and click the one next to the warning sign, so this diamond type here. And here we get some tests that are taken from these two projects. Now before I explain how to actually run a test, I'm going to go through what actually happens each time a test is run. So each time a test case is run, this setup function is ran. Then whatever your test function is, it could be anything. And then this teardown. Then for the next test, it runs the setup, it runs the test, then it runs the teardown every single time. Not all tests have to be ran in one go. You can just run a singular test. And you can run these through the little diamonds at the left-hand side. You can test these individual ones. And over here in the left-hand pane as well, you can also just click play to run any of those. I'm going to create a very simple test. I'm just going to test that when the app launches, that the movies list is 0. There's nothing in it. So what I'm going to do here is, I'm going to create a variable, and this is the view controller. So we're not going to set it equal, we're going to say it's type view controller, and we're going to explicitly unwrap that. In the setup then, we're just going to say VC equals view controller, so a new instance of the view controller. We're not going to put anything in the teardown, we don't need to, but if you did, then, as it says, put teardown code here. Now in our test example, I'm going to run a very simple function called assert. If I start typing, then it should come up, and this parameter is optional, but this just effectively shows a message if the test failed. I'm just going to leave that for now. I'm going to focus on this condition, which is a boolean, and I'm going to test in this VC, the movies.count is equal to 0. Okay, so that's a boolean expression that will return either true or false. So why don't we go ahead and run this? So to run it, all I did in this case was just click on the diamond over here, but I could have clicked on this diamond over here. What will happen is the build, if there's no errors, will succeed. It'll either install to your phone or the simulator, and then it'll run the test cases, or the test case. It'll simply launch the app, run the test, tell you how it performed, and then just close the app completely. The only purpose of the launch is to just test that whatever test function it was. When creating tests, there's two very important things that you should bear in mind. The first is that if your test can never ever fail, then it's a redundant test. If your test can never ever pass, it's a redundant test. But in all honesty, something like this probably would always pass, so it's fairly redundant. But because our app is so basic and small at this moment in time, there isn't really much to test. Hopefully now when you go on to build upon this app, or go ahead and create your own app in the future, then you now have a good idea of how to use Xcode's built-in unit testing.